Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to the Amelia's channel. In this video, I would like to read a news from Kathleen and Stanley Widianto Prasetyo Wardoyo. The warning: Indonesian village caught off guard in volcano disaster. Okay, let's get started. Penanggal, Indonesia, December 10 readers. In the wake of the deadly Semeru eruption on Indonesia's Java Island, the entwined bodies of a mother and daughter encased in the molten ice have come to symbolize what many living in the shadow of the volcano feel went wrong. There was no warning. If there had been, there wouldn't have been victims, right? Said Mina, of her cousin Rumini, who died clutching her elderly mother as their kitchen roof caved in. Like many Indonesians, they use only one name. Nasli at the base of volcano, their village of Curah Kobokan was among the worst hit when Semeru spectacularly erupted on Saturday, ejecting ash clouds and pyroclastic flows that killed at least 45 people and left dozens missing. The eruption of Java's Talas mountain has raised concerns about the effectiveness of Indonesia's disaster warning system and the dangers of rebuilding on the volcano's fertile but precarious slopes. Officials said some messages were sent to local administrators but acknowledged they didn't result in an evacuation order, in part because the volcano's activities is hard to predict. Warnings to evacuate are normally relayed by the National Disaster Mitigation Agency, such as in 2017 when it ordered 100,000 people living near Bali's rumbling Agung Mountain to immediately leave the danger zone. The National Disaster Mitigation Agency didn't immediately respond to readers' requests for a comment. In the Javanese, the village named Curah Kobokan means pouring bowl, refers to the river that snakes by it. Once a source of life, the river would also become the community downfall. Once Meru erupted, the river carried thick flows of lava and ash directly into Curah Kobokan. Now a vault of craters built as high as the power lines, a few triangular roofs jutting out of the newly formed disaster landscape. Residents say the air grew blazing hot and pitch black in seconds. People screamed and fled in panic, some taking refuge in a prayer house, others huddled in a concrete drain. Of 8 residents readers interviewed, not one said that they received warning of an impending eruption. If there had been warning, people wouldn't have evacuated. Instead, in a matter of minutes, lava streamed down and a lot of people died, said 41-year-old Irawati, whose husband was knocked unconscious as they tried to escape. No time to run. An archipelago of 270 million sitting atop the Pacific Ring of Fire. Indonesia is one of the most disaster-prone nations on Earth. The devastation wreaked by Semeru can be ascribed to a deadly confluence of factors for which no one wants to take the blame. The head of Indonesia's Geological Agency, Eko Budi Lelono, says messages were sent to local officials warning of the how test clouds. The river near Curah Kobokan, he said, was marked red on the map. In the future, we can't blame one another, but we need to synergize more, Eko said. Dino Adalananto of the East Java Disaster Mitigation Agency says the warnings were passed on to local resilience officers, but there were no specific orders to evacuate. The head of Curah Kobokan couldn't be reached. Experts say the nature of the eruption, a cave-in of the lava dome possibly triggered by external factors such as heavy rain, was also difficult to catch ahead of time. Whatever the actual trigger was, it was the instability of this lava dome at the summit that collapsed, and those things are very hard to predict, said Heather Hanley, a volcano scientist at Australia's Monash University. Eruptions triggered by a lava dome collapses count for about 6% of all volcanic eruptions, says Hanley, with more research needed to understand the characteristics and the causes. Another causal factor for the tragedy is the reality of Levon's narrow slopes, where over the decades communities have become inured to volcanic activity, including the summit lighting of the same. As disaster officials survey the devastation, some 100,000 homes damaged or destroyed. There is growing talk about the danger of living so close to the mountain, with Indonesian President Joko Widodo saying at least 2,000 homes will be moved. With 142 volcanoes, Indonesia has the largest population globally living in the close range to a volcano, including 8.6 million within 10 kilometers (6.2 miles). What needs to be explained to people is the areas where the lava flows. Our recommendation is not live there anymore, said the geological agency's echo. When they are there, there is no time to run. Reporting by Prasto Wardoyo in Penanggal, Kate Lam in Sydney, and Stanley Widiantoro in Jakarta. Additional reporting by Agustinius P. Witakostu. Writing by Kate Lam. Editing by Charisma Saint. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.